All right, 8-4. I want to go over two different scenarios that one, we'll look at it just intuitively, and two, we'll look at it using the formula from the book, and then I'll give you a third, a more generic formula that you'll see later in Math Life, more so than just the series form. So in part A, sum of first 100 numbers. You start with 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4. And you keep going, 96 plus 97 plus 98 plus 99 plus 100. You get the idea. So, when Gauss's teacher was mad at them and had them add them all up, and he finished it in 5 minutes because he saw a pattern. If you take the first and the last terms, 1 and 100, you can add them and you get 101. What happens now when you add the next set of terms, 2 and 99? You get 101. 3 and 98, 101. 4 and 97, 101. So, we're ending up with a bunch of 101s. How many of those 101s? We are going to actually have 100 numbers, but we're pairing them up, so 100 divided by 2 will get you 50. So I'm going to have 50 pairs of 101, and that'll get me an answer of 5,050. So the sum... So this series, it's a finite series because it ends at 100. This series will add up to 5,050. I can do the same thing with the sum of the first 30 even numbers. So I'll start with 2. I'll go to 4, go to 6, keep going. What is the 30th even number? That is going to be 60. Because I'm skipping all the odds, so 30 times 2 will get me 60. Now we can do the same pattern. 2 plus 60 gets you 62. 4 and 58, 62. 6 and 56, 62. Remember, you can pause this at any moment, go back, rewind, fast forward, etc. So if I have 62 as my sum, how many pairs that add up to 62 do I have? I have 30 numbers here. I don't have 60 numbers. I only have 30 even numbers. So that means I have 15 pairs. So my answer should be 930. 62 times 15. So that's the more intuitive way. Now, can we make that into a formula? Your book says yes. So your book gives you the formula. The series, it's finite, so it ends at some nth term is the number of terms that you have divided by 2 times the first term plus the second term. Notice A's refer to our sequence. So this is a sequence of numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. When I add up a sequence, that gives me a series. The summation of that series at the nth term is this formula. So I would then write the sum of the first 100 numbers is 100 divided by 2 times the first term plus the last term. And you end up with 50, because 100 divided by 2 is 50, and 1 plus 101 is 100 is 101. Okay, that's the exact same multiplication. We can do the same formula down here. So I have the 30th even number. I have 60 as my last number, but it's only 30 in my sequence. So that's going to be 30 numbers divided by 2, my first term plus my last term. That again will get me my 15 times my 62. The third way that you're going to see more often in college math classes will be n times n plus 1 divided by 2 as your formula for some summation of numbers. You have some sequence. So in this case, I'm going to have, or at least it works for this one, which is the most common one you'll see, is just a string of numbers. You're not going to see, you can tweak it for evens, which we'll tweak it. So for this one, the number of terms that I have is 100. So again, I'm going to have 100 terms. I'm going to have 100 plus 1, and I'll have it divided by 2. So that gets me the 50, and that gets me the 101. Now let's look at it for the first 30 even numbers. So if I did that, if I said S of 30, I would have 30 numbers. I'm doing 30 plus 1 divided by 2. What is the issue with this? The issue is that, okay, 30 and 2, we like 30 and 2 because that gives us 15, but the 30 and the 1 should actually be multiplied by 2. Why should they be multiplied by 2? Is because these are all even numbers. So instead of making this just n plus 1, it should be the even version of n plus 1 and making a 2 as your coefficient. So this should be a 2 on the outside, and that'll get me the 60 plus 2, and that'll fix it. If you don't want to go that deep, that's fine. Use the one from the book. Because the one from the book, your homework uses a lot, so I'm not going to give this formula to you. You've done it. You've experienced it. You should have this formula memorized before the test. I will give you the big mortgage formula when we get there, and the loan monthly payment formula, because that one's horrendous, but 8.4 and 8.5, you need to memorize those formulas.